Michelle Alanise here, and I want to talk to you today about a fun activity I did in one of my SI sessions. I know a question I commonly get is how do I work with a child who has less initiation or they're less able to collaborate with you? Because as we all know, sensory integration is really based on having this collaborative relationship with the child where you're coming up with ideas together and then implementing those to target the underlying sensory processing. So what do we do if we're working with an emerging verbal child who has limited initiation? Those are my favorite types of kids. So they come in, and I like to say that their favorite thing to do is going visiting. And that's where they just wander the room and they approach this and they approach that and they pick it up and they touch it and then they put something down and then they go to the next thing and they go all around the clinic going visiting to see different things. But they're not really actively engaging in anything. And they're also not doing any kind of like heavy sensory processing activity. So then what do we do to collaborate with this child? Well, I was just working with a little guy that's has this profile. And one of the problems is he likes to just, his favorite thing to do is to sit on the ground and straighten out his legs and just kind of like flap them, flap them, flap them. And that's so much fun for him. And so that's a fun activity. That's a good play activity. There's nothing wrong with that, but it's not therapeutic. So what am I going to do to bridge him between what he wants to do and what I want him to do so we can really make gains? Well, I always start by joining the child in what they're doing. Before you place demands on a child, you want to connect with them. So the saying is connect before you redirect. So I'll sit down next to him and I'll flap my little legs just like he's flapping his, and I'll delight in what he's delighting in. And together we build this little play interaction where he's connecting with me and I'm connecting with him, and he feels seen and understood. And then I think, how can I go past this into the next level? So in this case, I pulled out a water mat that we have where you use water and it's like paint. So it's a large water mat, and I got a bucket of water and I put my feet in the water and then I kind of flapped my feet onto the water mat to make art. And I did it a few times. I made no demands on him. I just imitated him. And then I did my own thing to kind of bridge him over to that play. And shortly, he's doing the same thing. He's putting his feet into that water and he's splashing it and making art with our feet and with our flapping. So now I've got him hooked. So how am I going to transition and make this a sensory rich activity? So I added shaving cream and I put shaving cream on the mat. Now we're putting our feet in the mat and we're dumping them in the water. And now we've got tactile engaged. But as you know, if you're doing ear sensory integration, not only does it need to be collaborative, but it also needs to be a sensory rich activity. So we want to try to target at least two of the three sensory systems, the tactile, the vestibular, the proprioceptive system. So I've got the tactile one involved. Now, how am I going to add to that? So then I started thinking about alternative seating options for us. I brought over a big bolster and I got him on it, and we're rocking back and forth and we're challenging his postural control while we're playing with the tactile. And all the while he's having fun and he's actively engaged with me. So that's one example of how you can work with these kids that are maybe a little bit less willing to initiate. Remember, you want to connect before you redirect. Okay, go have fun in those sensory gyms and tune in for more videos to know how to work with our kiddos using a sensory integration approach. I'll see you next time.